Hello, and today we propose you a focus on a rather fancy timepiece, the Virtuoso VIII Tourbillon by Bovet 1822, launched earlier this year, and I have to say that for me Bovet is for sure showing real consistency year after year, or to say this a bit differently, well, this consistency is becoming more and more apparent. So not boldly apparent, but just harmoniously and naturally apparent, and this is definitely the case with this Virtuoso VIII, which by the way also holds two new patents in terms of its mechanism. So we managed to get our hands on one of these timepieces. We got to visit the manufacturer and interview Mr. Raffy, so this is going to be quite a full report. In terms of aesthetics, this timepiece comes in a very original asymmetric case shaped like a writing desk, a feature which we had already seen with the spectacular Recital 18 shooting star last year. So one of the consequences of this is that you have a thinner size than the other, and so they had to move slightly upwards, the movement, but it didn't prevent them of displaying rather beautifully this new flying tourbillon with its variable inertia balance wheel, which allows them for some more dynamic setting, the ultimate goal being precision, of course. This flying tourbillon can naturally be admired from both sides, and I just wanted to focus on two small details that aren't that small. Well, number one, the polished titanium tourbillon bridge used for its anti-magnetic properties is something simply beautiful to look up from real up close. So number two, the second dial may seem like a little dial, but it's one that necessitated quite some trouble operations to put in place, and with the small pointer placed on the tourbillon cage, you can easily read the seconds. Regarding the dial, you have this pretty original tear-shaped area which comes in three versions: aventurine, black or white lacquered, and around the 3 o'clock mark you will find a big date indicator which you really can easily set using the push button found on top of the crown. And just for info, the date place will naturally match the color of the main dial you choose from. So I mentioned before that they had to slightly move upwards, the movement, but another interesting element is because of that tear-shaped dial drawing a little bit of your attention to the right side of the dial, well, they so slightly off-centered the hour and minute hands by 2 mm on the left to keep the overall harmony of this dial face. Just these tiny small details, something that won't jump in your face but will impact your subconscious perception and appreciation of the timepiece. So this leads me to the power reserve indicator seen around the 10 o'clock mark, and the Virtuoso VIII benefits from 10 days of power reserve achieved with one single barrel for this movement beating at 2.5 Hz. So to make this work, power consumption has been optimized throughout the entire movement, and in fact you still have a bit of margin because in reality the power reserve is closer to 11 days, well actually even a bit more than 11. And for you not having to wind your watch for minutes and minutes, Bovet are using their patented spherical differential winding system, which cuts this time by 2. Again, these small details, but talking about details, well, let's now talk about the finishing of this watch, because it is simply astonishing. You will find different techniques of engraving, polishing, chamfering, chisel plates, adorned bridges. Well, it's a full demonstration of Bovet's savoir-faire. And please keep in mind that the slightest mistake made by the artisan on one of these decorative elements simply means to start that very component all over again, and not the engraving part, but the full component with the machining and so forth. So no pressure on the artisans there.